To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Hello everyone and welcome to the WDW Fanboys Podcast.
Hello.
I'm Jonathan Hopkins and I'm joined by my co-hosts Brett Bennett and Spencer Coleman.
Hi there.
And today is
Hi.
Sunday, August 11th, and this will be episode 181.
Ooh.
Our show is sponsored by Pixie Vacations. Pixie Vacations is an authorized Disney travel agent. They offer fee-free bookings to Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Lines, and Adventures by Disney. You can find links to their site on our homepage, or you can give them a call directly at 678-815-1584. And on today's Fanboys, we've got a special guest, Lucky Brewer. If you've seen on the Facebooks and everything, probably on Kingdom Cast and a couple on ours, he was the winner of the Car Masters Weekend at Downtown Disney a couple months ago, wasn't it? Yeah. So we've got him on and just going to talk about his truck and everything. And he's going to be working on a new vehicle and I believe going into another contest for Disney or something else. So, Lou, Lucky, how are you doing?
Hey, how are you guys? I cut out there for a minute, so I was listening to you guys and saying hello, and I was like, well, I guess I lost signal again. So yeah, doing great. You guys?
Doing good.
Great. Yep.
Good.
So, you won that competition. We seen the videos and everything, and the truck looks pretty badass. And we seen that Mr. Bidnez from Kingdom Cast came down and visited it and said it was awesome looking too.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually had been talking to you guys, a couple of days ago about doing the show. So Ron hit me up and said, "What are you doing Tuesday night?" And it's like, nothing. That was when we were supposed to record. So actually, I guess everything panned out the way it should have. Yeah, Ron came over and shot the bull a few hours and, checked the truck out and the fam and the whole 9 yards. He's down here doing some business stuff, I guess, so swang into good old Nashville area for a good hello.
Yeah, so how long did it take you to do that truck?
This truck we've been building, I guess, peaking up on 5 years, maybe just a few months past 4. So it's been a long labor of love. It was what started out as a very easy, quick build later turned into, well, as you see it today, quite a little more elaborate and detailed and more expensive than we planned. Yeah. So. Yeah, what started as a truck I actually had in high school in the 90s. The thing to do was to have a cartoon character mascot, if you will, kind of in the mini truck scene. And I painted the truck purple, and we actually had a VHS tape around the house that had Sorcerer Mickey on it. It was a purple case with a Sorcerer Mickey, and I showed it to a few friends. Like, yeah, man, that'd be perfect. So I slapped it on the hood. Now, this is back in mid-90s, actually early 90s. So anyway, long story short, that truck went away with a divorce and job changes, moved in and out of state, and single dad, single parent. And so anyhow, through several vehicles, I sold and rebuilt. And so when it came time to do a new one, I thought, I should just revisit that truck I had in high school. So this is kind of the paying homage to that original truck, which the original truck is actually what formed me into being a Disney fan, believe it or not. Kind of, I guess everything's come full circle, if you will.
Yeah, I know, looking on Kingdom Cast when you were posting photos and everything, you'd have something done and you'd be like, oh, well, now we can do this and do that, and you had all this extra custom stuff, and I was like, Jesus, man. Yeah.
It's, snowballed.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, everything from hidden Mickeys in the artwork to hidden Mickeys underneath the truck on the frame, and custom milled pieces under the motor that done with the Waltograph, kind of the signature, the Walt signature font, and just one thing after another. A couple impressions in the upholstery that have Mickey heads in them, and the backs of the visors are some vintage Fantasia disco shirts. It's hard not to go overboard and do too much, so you kind of have to keep things subtle where you really have to look for it. And
the problem too is when you're doing, I would assume that when you're doing a truck or any kind of vehicle like that to show off, it's got to be something too, like you could have something really cool, but if no one's seeing it, it's kind of just overboard. It's just really for you then at that point.
Yeah, well, it's the Kingdom Cast guys and such often joke at the donks, which are you guys are in Florida, so you're familiar with those. But you don't want to step into that genre of vehicle. So you kind of play it subtle, but everything turned out great on it. It was it received a huge welcome at the Car Master show, and we actually met. Actually, Spencer and I met. An Imagineer there. I ironically didn't even know the guy was an Imagineer until he started to leave. We pressed him for information, and we couldn't get anything out of the guy.
Walked away faster.
Yeah, even faster. It became from a walk to a sprint at that point. Yeah, but it was cool. It was cool. Kind of. I guess the best way to put it, you kind of give back to these people that have followed it on these. I've put it on a few boards and a couple forums and pages and groups and Instagram and Twitter, and it's been all over the place. And I was surprised at the people that were actually down there on vacation or locals that made it out to see it. It was humbling, very humbling. Yeah. And
now, how did it go over with actually the outside of Disney? I mean, because all the Disney people thought it was cool and everything. How did it go? Because I know you're in that mini truck scene and everything. How did it go over with them? Have you put it in any of those magazines or anything?
Yeah, it's been in a couple magazines, and it's funny. It walks a very fine line between love and hate. Often in this crowd, you get, well, I can appreciate the work and I can appreciate the craftsmanship, and that's usually guys that just don't have the balls to say they don't like it.
Yeah.
But you have to appreciate the art that was put into it, or the creativity. But when we built this one, it was just going to be the hood, and that was it. So I've got a house full of kids ranging from 18 to 1. So when they would put their input on it, and of course, being in the fan community with people like you guys, you guys would put ideas in my head, and so it was real hard not to just go overboard with it. But the guy that did the airbrush work on it, this guy named Brent Lovelace, and we actually became friends through this project. Not even a Disney fan, believe it or not. So anybody who's seen this thing, it's the artwork is just amazing. It's things that you would see at some of these studios in Disney. It's amazing. But I've kind of pulled him back full circle. We're planning a trip in November, and he's actually going to go with us down there. So he's never been. He's done all this fabulous artwork. He's never been to Disney. Wow. So great guy. But what an experience that was. It was a very long, drawn-out process to even get invited. Lots of paperwork, lots of insurance. A huge cost to get it down there. I won't even, it was ridiculous. And once I got back, I had a couple of repairs we had to do to it. Spencer can vouch for how rude and inconsiderate people were it was, I literally threw up 3 or 4 times the first, let's see, we got down there when, Spencer? Saturday? We got down there Friday. The show started.
Friday, yeah.
And so by Saturday night, my nerves were so shot, I'd thrown up a handful of times that night. It was that nerve-wracking. We pulled a couple kids out of the truck. We pulled people off the truck. Got in arguments with people over their strollers, their bags, their
Go ahead, Lucky. Go ahead and tell the story right now about the lady who thought that she was entitled to touch your car.
I actually told Ron this story last night sitting at my kitchen table. I thought I was gonna have to pick Ron up out of my kitchen floor because it was borderline. It was you can't really decide whether you're gonna laugh or you're gonna cry when you hear the story, and I think Ron felt that emotion when I guess it was Saturday afternoon. It's hot. God, what month was I there, guys? Father's Day weekend. June 22nd, maybe? No, not June 22nd. When was it? 14th, maybe? I don't know. I'd have to look it up. The Father's Day weekend. We get a calendar.
It was June 15th to June 16th.
There you go. Thank you. I'm in Tennessee. We have no internet access here, so pulling up Google. I appreciate that. No, we're still using abacus and wood carving calendars.
Sundials,
Yeah, exactly. Phone dials. Yeah. And I'm hoping I don't lose you guys with this string that's between these cans. But anyway, the Saturday, smoldering heat. It is brutal heat. You're on the promenade of downtown Disney. We were actually placed in front of the stage where Chip Foose appeared and did a few things, and they had a very awful band that played the same 5 songs over and over, and we were pretty much in front of these guys all weekend.
Wait, it wasn't just a band, it was an a cappella group.
Yeah, and it was what do you say, these guys were maybe 20s, I guess, and
these 5 kids in their 20s.
I do love that acapella groups can be shot on site.
Hey, I tell you, what was it? The Main Street guys that did the boy band thing. I'm drawing a blank here. Help me out.
Dabber Dance, yeah.
Yeah, Dabber Dance did the boy bands. These
Boys, yeah.
I would rather listen to a box set of these guys as opposed to these acapella. Horrible. I think I heard that themes from Cars, Life is a Highway, at least 60 times. Horrible. So anyway, here we are. We're in the in the dead heat of downtown Disney. No shade. If you wanted shade, you had to leave the vehicle across the way there, and find a tree to perch under. But with the way people were so rude, we actually took shifts standing out next to the truck. So anyhow, there's a lady. She was complete with barbed wire tattoos around her ankle. I set the scene here really well. Maybe a step above a wife beater kind of thing, and wearing that. And, she had a kid. I guess he was older than he should have been in a stroller. I'd say probably 6, maybe 7. But in one of those little umbrella strollers. Well, we were parked next to the car that Chip Foose had built, which I'm sure you guys know who Chip Foose is. We were next to the car that had been featured on Overhauling. So between my truck, which is a very vivid purple with Sorcerer Mickey all over the hood of it, and next to Chip Foose's. So between these 2 cars, we literally just had to peel people off of them all weekend. So we're standing there at the front, and I noticed, I was on the passenger's front. I noticed at the driver's rear of the truck, this kid is, the best way to describe it is he was doggy paddling in his stroller toward my truck. Feet and hands, right? So I stepped over the truck, and I kind of politely put my foot out or my hand out or whatever, and, I didn't want to touch the kid or the stroller, but, I made it obvious that I was going to be the barrier between the two. So she looks over and she's mumbled something to me, and through this, she's taking pictures of the Foose car. So she says to me, he does it again. I said, "Hey, ma'am, could you watch the stroller? He's coming real close to the paint. It's making me, I'm freaking out here. Can you get him, park him, put the brake on?" I think it's actually what I said, is put the brake on. So she sets up her shot, and he does it again. So I mention it to her one more time, and at this point I said, ma'am, I don't think you understand. There's a lot of craftsmanship and expense in these things to get them to look this way. And she says, surely to God, you don't, she says, you don't think I know this? I said, I just wanted to mention it. He's coming close to it. I appreciate you moving him back. So he does it again. And I said to her, ma'am, I don't think you understand, the cost to get one of these vehicles look this way. She looks at me and says, I don't think you know the cost I spent on this GD vacation. And I said, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. So this,
looking
after
at the
that,
wife beater, I'm guessing it didn't go in the clothing.
Oh my God, I had to say it again after that and to get the lady away, and she cuts me out. There was a couple MFs involved, and you don't know how much I paid for this vacation. I don't give a damn how much you paid for this paint. Oh, it was just terrible.
Wow.
But that was all weekend. I peeled people that couldn't speak English off of the front of it, and we had a girl about 8 or 9 kneel down in the front on her knees, and she proceeded to spread her arms out the length of my truck from headlight to headlight while her mom took a picture.
Was she hot?
Oh, God, no. This is like a little chubby, foreign, sweaty kid, like a hood ornament. But no, it was all weekend long. But, we did meet a lot of people that are very respectful and wanted to ask questions.
You would think Disney would have had security more kind of helping out or anything.
There was hundreds of cars, man. There was no way.
Really?
You'd think, but it's not their property. That's why they
True,
probably got
yeah.
the insurance. Now, Chris, Lucky.
Chris, Lucky, it's either way.
Okay. You're going to be doing this again next year, right?
Yeah, we've already been invited back. Granted, things are financially okay where we can take it down there. It's several $1,000s to load it up and haul it. The truck's not driven, so you have to take a big rig and a trailer, and of course the expense of staying on Disney. They cut you a deal, but it's not that much of a deal. I think we paid $89 a night at an All-Star. So yeah, if all goes well, with some things I have planned with the next vehicle, I'm hoping to have both of them there next year.
Wow. The reason I'm asking, whether you make it down next year or the next time you come down, I am going to offer you my services as a vehicle bodyguard. And I can promise you that it does not matter age, nationality. My annoyance knows no bounds, and there will be nobody that comes near your truck.
Good. Good.
No offense.
You won't be there.
No offense to you, Brett. But I look at Lucky and I'm like, no offense to you, Lucky, but a guy with your look, I'm like, maybe I'm not going to mess with his vehicle.
I think the funnest thing was I got involved with it, sometimes like later on after I felt more comfortable, like, hey, can you not, kids and everything, hey, can you not touch the car, please? It's somebody else's property. And then I think the funnest thing was when non-kids would touch it, when adults and teenagers would touch it. Because then you can be like, hey, back the hell off. Like, what the hell are you doing?
I'm gonna go in there with like a dirty rag and a freaking spray bottle. Wash your window, sir.
Well, I went down there with 4 guys. It was me and 2 guys named Brandon. So we had Brandon and actually a dear friend of mine, Bob, who actually painted the truck, went with us. But Brandon actually almost got into a fist fight with a guy that wouldn't get his hand and his big watch off the roof of the truck. The truck sits. I'm 5'3". I'm actually in the garage now. I'm 5'3", and the truck comes below my nipple. So I mean, we're talking. I guess sternum, I guess, would be a polite way to say that. So very small vehicle. And this guy's pretty brute. He had to put his hand flat on the roof of it, leaned in to look at it, which you have to appreciate people wanting to look at it, but at the same time, God, don't touch it. Number one, it's not yours. Yeah. Number two, you have no idea what it costs to get to this point. Yeah. Just like the lady that said, do you know what this vacation is? Well, let's say an average vacation is what, $3,000, I guess, 4. Yeah. Let's say 4 on the high side. I've over 10 times what her vacation cost. So,
not to mention just the wax job you probably did on it alone. you know, and everything else, and just the time and everything else. You know, it's just like, I don't go to the car shows and start touching the cars, you know. What makes you think I can touch your car, you know?
It's like go to a model show and start touching the models.
Yeah.
Get you thrown out.
Well, what people don't realize is just the pad of just the fingerprint on your pad is sometimes more abrasive than what a mild sandpaper is. So a fingerprint alone, you know, if you were to write your name in the dust, you would never get that name out of it, though you've done everything to try to do it. You'd never. There'd always be the very faint look of it on there. And Spencer can vouch for it. This is, you know, we're not talking a $100,000 or $1 million Riddler vehicle, and it's not in that realm. But you know, Spencer can vouch for how flawless and spotless this thing is in the grand scheme of it being a Toyota.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, never mind the fact of all the work, time, effort, and money you put into that vehicle. At 5'3", you could probably do some serious nut punching. So I don't know why someone would take that chance.
But also, too,
right?
it's the same thing that the same people that go there and touch his truck are the same people that deface Disney property when they're down there.
And that's why I will be there, because I will be glad to get my hands on the throats of those
You know what? You know what really works too? Cattle prod.
Nice.
Cattle prod.
That's what I said. You need to have the whole truck hooked up to a little cattle prod.
Take a cattle prod, disguise it as a magic wand,
There we go.
and just tap people. Just be like,
Well,
here's some magic for you.
Your
He's
kid's having a
serious.
seizure. Tend to your kid.
They sent out a survey after the show. The promoter of the show. It's actually Disney is basically leasing out that spot to a show promoter. So Disney is inviting you, but through a selection process. You know, they go back and forth on. You know, obviously there's a lot of people they could invite, so they want to make sure they get some of the cream of the crop in there, which we were kind of baffled at. There were brand new vehicles there, 2013 Dodge Chargers or Camaros, and I said, you know, that's not custom, but what was explained to me is, yeah, but you got to understand, people in Australia, you know, Asian countries, they don't see these vehicles, so it's a very exotic car. So anyway, there's a very rigorous process on, you have to submit pictures, and Disney actually places you around downtown Disney based on the color of the vehicle, the size of the vehicle. They have the exact dimensions, height, and everything of that vehicle. So from what I understand is there's some pretty strict fire regulations, and I'm assuming that goes through Reedy Creek or what have you with, you know, what can go where. And yeah, it's definitely one of the strangest and most honorable car shows I've ever been to, and I've been doing this for 20-something years. So it was a cool and strange experience all at the same time.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping next year we're I don't know if you guys have alluded to this or not, but I'm actually a Pizza Planet replica truck. And when I say replica, I'm going down to every detail of this truck. We're getting spot on. But I'm taking that hopefully next year, and that one won't be as shiny, as immaculate as this one. So we're hoping to welcome a few more hand touches and then that sort of thing on it.
So you're gonna try to do the Pizza Planet truck just like you would see in the movie, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are a couple odd details about it. It's
You're gonna donk it out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Spinners. You won't believe the TVs we this thing. Oh, 50 TVs. Oh, absolutely.
Have the roof split in the open in the middle.
The butterfly doors. That's what we're gonna do on it. Yeah, absolutely.
Looking at the detail you put into your most recent vehicle, I'm really looking forward to seeing this, because I can imagine how authentic it's going to look.
There's one floating around now that's I'm not dissing the guys that built this thing, but it's shiny yellow, the topper's wrong, the wheels are wrong. It's actually a wrong year. That the Pizza Planet truck had round headlights, this one's got square. It's just so much wrong with it. But they were invited to Pixar, so I'm hoping maybe to bust a few balls and get both of these things out to California one year. The Pixar has a car show, which is invite only. And I'd like to make it out to there, but if it costs $800 in gas from Nashville to Orlando, imagine what it would cost from Nashville to where is Pixar? It's in California.
It's not California, yeah. It's I think it's their new. Yeah, I think there are new places. Burbank or.
Yeah, I don't even know.
But yours can be known as the authentic Toy Story.
Well, there's a domain. It's like the real pizzaplanetruck.com or something, or pizzaplanetruck.com. Nice. So we were actually going to go in there and kind of plus it. We were going to plus that domain and throw ours on there. There's if you ever pull up any screenshots or look at, even the toys are pretty spot on with the movie. The mirrors are mounted to the fenders. The gas doors behind the wheel well in the back. The the letters on the tailgate say "Yo," and it's there's just lots of little things about it that the one that's floating around now is just completely wrong. The rocket's about the size of a football, which it needs to be like the size of me. It's huge. It's, from what we've measured of the actual vehicle to the rocket, it's a 36-inch rocket that sits on top of that roof. So it's huge, which it's animated. Everything is, over exaggerated. And that's what we're going to do on this one, is build it spot on. But I'm excited. We're lining up some sponsors and stuff. We're going to try to do a couple things with Give Kids the World with it. And really, it's kind of the downfall of this truck. It's so immaculate. Nobody can touch it. You don't want anyone sitting in it. I want this one to be a little more friendly. Yeah. Not climb on top of it friendly, but, a little more picture friendly and touching it, that sort of thing. So, we're hoping. Pretend you're riding it. What's that?
You said you can't straddle the rocket, pretend you're riding it.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we can get my wife. My wife is 13 years younger than me, and she's hot. So maybe we can pop her up here.
Good for you.
And I know, absolutely. Ron was shocked when I spouted that off last night.
You know what you do
champion.
For the rocket, get one of those playground springs that they have the animals you ride on. Get one of those to attach the rocket, and then that way.
Yeah, but then you gotta have a support structure inside of the hood to support that weight.
Well, get a Volvo frame.
Well, we'll figure it out. We're actually having trouble with it. We can't find anyone that can. There's a guy on Kingdom Cast that's offered to do some sculpture work to it, and we're doing this show without no mention to him, so I won't drop his name. But he's offered to do to sculpt it, but we can't figure out how to sculpt it in a way that we can light it up from the inside. So if anybody has any suggestions, throw it out there too. We're open.
You do it Hollywood style, man. You sculpt it, then you make a fiberglass. It's gonna take a process, but you make a fiberglass mold around it, and then you basically then you've got your two negatives. Then you make another some plastic or something that you can either paint, or something that's a lighter material that's translucent that you can light from the inside.
Well, you can do that with Lexan. You can actually set it up. But I actually contacted a couple places to build the mold. Now, if we build the metal, if it was out of metal, we could do it all day long.
Yeah.
If it were metal, I could send it to these guys and have it molded. They want $1,500 to make it around my mold. It's like, well, for the rocket, you pretty much ruined the whole budget of the truck with just the rocket. Not that we can get it done with $1,500, but still, that's a dent, But we're excited about it. I had a buddy of mine email me one day. Actually, text message me the truck on Craigslist, and perfect truck, donor truck, and found me a topper. So he messaged me the truck and the topper in the same day and says, "Look, I found you both, man." So we struck a deal, and he's in Carolina, so I had to pick both of them up. So I got to get to Carolina at some point, bring this thing home and start working on it.
Now,
but it'll get there.
What got you into building and rebuilding vehicles like this?
No, just custom stuff. I've never done it. I've never done it as a profession. And most of the work, I'm a motor guy. I've done under the hood of my truck. I helped with all the rest of it, but the only thing that I did solely myself was everything under the hood. I like tinkering. I like anything that moves and, engineering, mechanical kind of mind. But as far as like painting and airbrushing and upholstery, I didn't do any of that stuff. The truck sits on the ground. I didn't do any of the fabrication with that. I relied on very close friends to make sure that was done safe and proper, and I handled everything under the hood. But I was into these things in school. Like I said, I'm 39 this year. I've been into them since I was old enough to drive. But even before that, I've always had the Hot Wheels and model cars and car books and that sort of thing. I remember being sick as a kid and my mom saying, what can I bring you? Chicken noodle soup or, Gatorade or whatever. What's going to make you feel better? And I'd have her bring me like Gatorade and a Hot Rod magazine. And I clearly remember it being like 6 or 7 years old asking for a Hot Rod magazine, And even at the grocery store, my little brother, rest his soul, he'd want to buy Transformers and I was buying, Street Rodder magazine. I was 8 years old, 8, 9, 10 years old. It's just born with it, I guess.
So there you go, kids. Stay in school.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, stay at school. You got that right. No, I couldn't imagine doing this as a profession. It's plenty of money to be made in it, but it's backbreaking. It's laborious. It's I know lots and lots of fabricators, and it's I wouldn't.
You might fall out of love of it once you have to do it for a profession.
Yeah.
It becomes a routine day-to-day thing, and then you're just like, I don't want
work and not a hobby.
Yeah.
Well, if you've ever pulled up to a high-end hot rod shop, the biggest piece of junk in the parking lot's usually the guy that owns the place or works there. It's pretty spot on. You can leave a note on his car, and I guarantee you that's who it would be. It is. You burn out on it. You have time to work on everybody else's stuff but your own. But it's cool. I can't wait to get the Pizza Planet truck done. But when we were down there and Father's Day weekend, it was an honor to have Spencer hang out with us all weekend. He was a trooper. He checked on us constantly and brought us what we needed and carted me around down there, and it was killer. I can't wait to come back.
His Pizza Planet truck.
Yeah, right. Made it well. Have you seen the Griswolds all over Twitter and everything?
Oh yeah.
Station wagon is I guess they own what do they own, a Disney travel company?
They own Pixie Vacations, our sponsor.
They're a sponsor, yeah.
You guys, so hell, the people. Yeah, the thing's crazy cool. But could you imagine pulling up in Disney parking lot with the Pizza Planet truck?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're talking the Griswolds at Disney compared to a Disney Pixar truck at Disney. So, we need to get a hold of those guys at Griswolds. Man, I need to see if I can get them to bring that thing down to Car Masters next year. Be a hit.
I would almost wonder if Disney, after seeing it, would even possibly make you an offer for something so authentic.
As far as the Pizza Planet truck,
vehicle, yeah.
It's funny. We were kind of leery. Bob, the guy that painted my truck, he said, are you sure we're going to a car show? He said, well, one of two things is going to happen. We're going to get down there. He said, they've seen this truck hoard all over the internet. We're going to get down there, and they're either going to say, look, we want this in the next Cars movie, or you're arrested. Everything on this damn thing is copyright infringement. He kept telling us it's a setup, man. They're bringing us down there. It's a setup. They're going to take this truck from you.
Disney doesn't set anyone up. Doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's right, exactly. So,
dude, if they ever tell you that they're going to upgrade your annual pass, run.
Run, right?
That's the code for getting caught.
Oh yeah.
I've heard this story. So if I I don't have an annual pass. I'm assuming if they offer me an annual pass, I need to run like hell.
Get a fake name, man.
Yeah.
Got it. I'll go down there under Nomius.
Yeah, I was gonna say Nomius Granovi and Leonard Kinsey are already taken, so choose another one.
own this. It's great. Yeah, awesome. It's
what did you actually talk to anyone officially at Disney? Like, did anyone come down and talk to you and like say, this is, besides winning the competition and everything, it was like, hey, this is really freaking awesome, or anything like that?
Yeah, actually, and it's funny when Downtown Disney would open in the mornings, you'd get this swarm of cast members, and we're standing around kind of wiping it up for the day, and the cast members that would come by saying, hey, I saw this last night on my other cast member friend's Facebook page or Twitter or whatever, and she's like, you got to check this thing out tomorrow. So I guess we could kind of go from the bottom up on what we heard from people. The cast members were just blown away by it. I wish I would have put a hashtag on the truck. I think next year I will. I'll actually put a hashtag sticker on the window. Yeah. The name of the truck is Abracadabra, so maybe I'll put hashtag Abracadabra too, and it would be neat to track who took pictures of it. No kind of glory, but man, people you just couldn't even understand, cast members. It'd be cool to kind of see where it's ended up and what people have said about it. But management loved it. We got tons of people from management just got it. One in particular, my last name is Brewer, and this guy's first name was Brewer, which was kind of odd. But I'm not sure what the guy did, but he was walking hand in hand practically with Chip most of the weekend. So I'm assuming he was some sort of management, or it wasn't a plaid vest. I'm not sure what the guy was, but yeah, he loved it. We talked to an Imagineer, and later we found out one of the guys that we had talked to a few times was Imagineer, which I didn't even know the guy was an Imagineer until after the fact, which kind of sucks, but whatever. Chip Foose, of course, thought it was really cool. Jay, how do you pronounce his last name? Jay Rizzolo of Pixar. Yeah. Yeah, he checked it out, which I never got the guy's autograph, man. Go figure, I can kick myself in the ass for not. I was more at awe of meeting him than I was Chip Foose. Yeah. I'm a car guy. Chip Foose is just another car guy in my eyes. So, Jay was pretty cool that he was there. But yeah, we got a lot of things from him. There was a guy there that actually texted a well-known, I won't put it completely out there, but he texted a well-known Disney artist. And the text came back while we were standing there was the replied text back was, I rarely see fan art that I love. This I love. And that was pretty cool coming from one of the Disney artists, one of the commissioned artists, I guess Disney approved artists. But yeah, lots of people, man. It was just really cool to people that would say, wow, you really pulled this off. It's not too much. It's not too little. The artwork is correct. And, we actually used, when Brent did the hood, we actually used the sketches. I found them through Google, the actual Fantasia sketches showing the position of the hands, the position of the star on the hat, how big the star had to be as opposed to his body. The robe always had to face a certain position. The ear had to be in the right way. It was all the artist notes. So this one is actually done to those artist notes. So he's spot on with what was in the movie of the 30s. I guess that movie came out 40s maybe. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I seeing pictures of it, and like Ron said, man, pictures don't do it justice. But looking at the hood of it, it looks almost like you took something that big, like a sticker from like an artist from Disney, and laid it on there and just slapped it on there. You came like, a lot of times when you see stuff sprayed on like that, it's off or something, right? But that looks like, from a glance, it looks spot on, and as I'm trying to look more on it, it looks even better.
A lot of them, you get real fuzzy edges, and I'll give you the guy's information that did the hood, and you guys can put it in the show notes. Just a phenomenal artist, which, ironically, the guy has MS, and pretty bad MS, and he has problems with can't feel the tips of his fingertips, has problems with his muscles, and he becomes almost blind in one eye sometimes because of the MS. So to look at this and understand I put air quotes around handicap, the handicap that he goes through on a daily basis is just mind blowing that he can pull this off. And
that was beautiful.
And that's nothing I've ever mentioned anywhere. Just a super good dude with an amazing talent that, I wish just one of my fingers had the talent this guy's got in his hands. But yeah, super good guy. But this, the glory and the fun of this one is kind of at its peak at this point. It's been in 2 magazines and shot for a couple more. So, and I'll give you guys the information on that too if anybody wants to pick up the magazine on it. But it's I've hit the peak of it. I've hit the pinnacle of this truck. I'm ready to get onto the Pizza Planet truck.
What if you don't mind me asking, what are your plans with this truck? Like, you just going to keep it, hang on to it?
Yeah, just keep it, and probably going to blow a little bit more of it apart and detail some more stuff underneath it. This was, I joked that this was unfinished business. I had to finish this truck with the fate the first one met. It got parted out and crushed, and just a bad ordeal. But this was just unfinished business, and it's funny. I go to my garage steps sometimes. I just laugh. I'm like, I can't believe this son of a bitch is in my garage now. After 20-something years, I finally pulled this truck off, Finally. The vehicles I've been through tons of vehicles, and finally I get back to this one and get it finished after all these, planning this thing since I was, 17 or 18. But yeah, it's
you're going to use as a grocery getter. Got it.
Mulch. That's it. It's funny. We don't even. This is the only truck we own. So anytime we take it to a show, I'm always having to bum another truck. So I don't even have a truck to load it full of junk. I take it out every once in a while. I've had it out 3 times, I guess, since it's been back from Disney. But people are crazy. They text with one hand and drink their Starbucks with the other. And, for somebody to run into the rear of this thing would just be sickening. It'd make me puke.
I think I have a friend in Tennessee that needs help moving a couple couches this weekend.
And we're thinking about putting a trailer hitch on this truck. That way we can haul even more.
There you go.
And God, could you imagine? And it's not even a truck anymore. It would probably haul something, but I don't know. We took it to the cruise in a few weekends. I was just ready to get it home after an hour. The way it was treated at the Disney show, it's just I like it in the garage with the cover on it. At this point, it's hard to watch. It's like somebody else spanking your kid. It's you watch people touch it and maul on it and lean all over it. It's sickening the way people treat things that's not theirs. So it is. We see it in the parks all the time.
Yeah. What you do is next year when you go down, you let us know, let the Kingdom Cast guys know. I'm sure if Tucker can make it down or Ron, he might be down here. We could get some asps and take care of it and guard the thing for you.
It'll be well protected. Both groups there. Yeah. Trust me, you won't have to worry about a fly speck on that vehicle.
Yeah. It's they sent out a survey after the show, and they asked some questions and things that could change and things you didn't like. And at the top of my complaint list was always, please let us have stanchions in shows that they make stanchions you drive on, so your wheels and tires hold them down.
Yeah.
They come out a good couple feet distance from the vehicle, and then you just string nylon rope in it. But not that would keep people from crashing into it, but sometimes you just need a little bit of that barrier. It's like a fence at a farm that the horses never jump over. They're plenty capable of jumping. They just won't because it's in front of them. It's the same case with this.
Even something as simple as just having ropes.
Some electrified wire.
No, not electrified wire. What are they called?
Electrified barbed wire.
Yeah, just the normal ropeways that they normally have for like
Stanchion, yeah.
the stanchions and everything. Yeah.
See, barbed wire, they'll
Well,
just avoid the barbs. If it's electric,
That was the thing, when they make these makeshift cues, you've got that, you've got those had them at Epcot character things. I remember there, they just stand up on a pole and they have kind of like a retractable seatbelt, if you will, that clip between them, and hell, that's fine, perfect. But at that point, if they're not heavy enough at the base, then you got people knocking the whole damn pole into the truck,
Yeah.
So it's almost damned if you do, damned if you don't. But it's whatever. And this is only the third year of this show. Or actually second or third year, I think.
I think it's third.
Is it third? I think so. But they're still new. They're still trying to figure this whole thing out. They're the guy that puts on the show says, we'd like to get a little more marketing out there, and Lou Mongello, of all people, is actually who directed me to the people to try to get the truck into the CarMaster show. So he is solely responsible for me getting it in there this year. He directed me. I mean, he pretty much put me into the hands of the guy that put it on. And when I sent him an email back, I said, we're headed down there a couple weekends from now. I'd love to meet you. Ricky Bermani was actually supposed to be there as well. You didn't show, Ricky. If you're listening to this show, you didn't show up. So there's a couple guys that were supposed to be down there, but Lou put a huge shout out about the show, which kind of blew me away. He even mentioned the truck. He's kind of a backdoor celebrity, I guess. It just, it's kind of cool that he threw it out there. And, I met some people that day that said, hey, I heard it on Lou's show last week. So, thanks to him for sending it out there. So, they're trying to make this thing as big as they can get it.
I mean, we could try to do as much as we can, but Lou's got way more pull. I mean, if you want publicity, you need to bump up against him. He's the guy.
Ron and I were talking about that last night. People always want to talk smack about Lou, but I tell you, any of us guys would take the chance that he has at the drop of a hat. He's living the dream. He's doing exactly what we want to do. He's meeting people that, we can even come miles distance to, and this guy's at their houses and interview them and everything else. So, hats off to the guy. He's doing it. He's pixie dusting it and fluffing it, but hey, man, it's taking him there, I guess. So, whatever. It is what it is. But, I appreciate him putting in contact with the guy. Who else? I know who to contact.
Yeah.
I tried when I heard about it the first year, and I was like, well, even Disney couldn't tell me who. I'd call Disney, and they're like, I don't know, CarMaster's never heard of it. You gotta be kidding. They have it at your property, but I guess that's the way Disney is, nobody knows anything anymore, right? Walt who?
Departments, yeah.
Yeah, Walt who? Exactly. Yeah, so, it is what it is. The process was pretty crazy. As far as everything you had to go through to get there, and then once you were there, they had it was a huge logistics on where you unloaded and where you drove in and where you had to be, and you had to wear a name tag with your little lanyard with your name tag on it. You had to exit at this time. You couldn't leave, and the truck had never seen rain until it was down there. So here it comes a pouring down rain, and you can't leave. You're locked in there. Once you're there, you're there. So it was tough. We didn't get much part time in because we babysat this thing for Spencer, 10 hours a day, I guess,
including 9:30 to 6 every day.
And that kind of sucked. I think Spencer and I we went to the parks twice.
Oh yeah, two times I think.
Yeah, which was cool, and it was nice to put this thing in the trailer and lock it up and go have some fun afterwards. It was. And my wife says, I can't believe you went down there without us. And I said, as glorious as it sounds, it was way more work than I ever anticipated.
Man, hitting the parks with Zach Galifianakis sure was. It was great.
You guys heard that story? You let Spencer tell that story. That's pretty funny.
If you've never seen Lucky, he said he's 5'3", has his big beard, and has a striking resemblance to Zach Galifianakis. And so we went on and rode a Space Mountain, I think, for the first time out of like 5 that day. And as we're getting off, there's these 2 teenage girls that keep looking back at him. They're in front of us. They keep looking back. And as we're walking away, one of the Brandons here, the girl says, "Oh my God, that's Zach Galifianakis. Should we go ask him for a picture? Should we go ask for his autograph?"
I said we should have just played it. We should have just played it out completely. You know, we actually planned on playing it out that night, but the rain just
rain killed it.
Just killed the whole thing. Yeah, that's crazy.
Next time you come down, we'll be playing it out. Don't you worry.
Well, I trimmed my beard for the summer, so I guess I've got plenty of time to grow it back. We're actually planning to come down there in November, second or third week in November, for 8 to 10 days. So hopefully we'll all get to meet up and have fun down there. And actually, I need to send you guys out on a mission. August 30th, they're having another car show at it's called Dream Cars Weekend, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
It's Coronado Springs, August 30th, and it's supposed to be huge. They have quite the list of events going on there, celebrities and workshops and
a great deal on hotel rooms.
Yeah, absolutely.
$99 a night for Coronado.
Wow.
Yeah, and their park tickets are included. Well, if you go to the show, you park tickets too. But I've talked to the lady that actually puts on that show. She's all but begged me to bring it down there, and I can't afford it right now. It's just it's so. I mean, you're talking $600 to $800 just in gas.
Yeah.
So
and it took you 14 hours to get from Tennessee to Orlando.
Yeah, about that. Well, we hit Atlanta traffic, but still is a haul. You know, you're hauling a trailer, and you know you can't drive too crazy. You got this precious cargo in the back. You know, not that your family's not precious cargo, but they're not in a trailer behind another vehicle. But yeah, it was a long. It sucked. The drive there sucked. The drive back sucked. It was horrible. The trip was actually equally miserable as it was fun, and I say that in all honesty, it was just as miserable as it was fun. I look back now and it's just like, oh God, it's kind of one of those things you're glad you did it, but you're so damn glad it's over. You know, we got to drive through the streets of downtown Disney, which was cool as hell. Anybody who's seen the video, that was pretty neat. We got to drive it in there and lay the truck out in the middle of the promenade there, which is pretty crazy. Then the trophy, actually, Ron took some pictures of the trophy last night, and he was shocked at how big and how heavy this thing was. It's
awesome.
Pretty quality, but we both noticed that the trophy and the Chip Foose, it's kind of like a keychain, like a medallion they give you, both made in China. Big thumbs up there. Both of them made in China. You believe that? Yeah, it's the way it is now. I guess everything's made in China. Why not make the high-end products made in China too? I don't know. But yeah, we're hopefully we'll have both of them down there next year. Actually, I sent an invite to Mr. Leonard Kinsey today. I don't know if anybody saw this. He had a post where Raleigh Crump's not going to be part of some sort of a event they have at D23. Yeah, bummer. That's ridiculous. But I extended an offer to him that I'll chip in on a booth if they want to buy a booth in the collector's forum at the next D23. I'll put this truck and Pizza Planet truck in it. I've been giving that offer right now for everybody here. If he wants to chip in, we'll take both the vehicles to California to the next D23. Hopefully it'll be in Orlando in 2015. So maybe I'll have to haul it that far.
Yeah. It's like if you want to do Pixar, it's about 2,300 miles from Tennessee to Emeryville, California is where Pixar is.
Where the hell is that? What's it close to?
Oakland, like around that area.
Oakland. Hopefully we can meet up with Too Short while we're there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even.
Between there and San Francisco, which that makes no sense because that's kind of a distance. But I don't.
Wait, is it above San Francisco?
I don't believe so.
Because God, isn't it like a full day ride from Anaheim to Disney Family Museum in San Francisco?
Actually, yeah, I think it's closer to San Francisco. Yeah,
That's a haul.
Yeah.
Like a daylight hours ride. I'm guessing around 12 hours to get up.
Oh,
Still
good
long,
Lord.
man.
I know. I'm just saying it's like not a 24-hour full day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Jesus, could you imagine taking this truck out to Pixar and then wanting to hit up Disneyland?
Oh yeah.
Jesus, that'd be like driving from Nashville to Orlando.
Yeah.
The distance between Pixar and Disneyland. I would assume that the big guys there, Iger and Lasseter, I would assume they don't put their Ford Taurus on the freeway to make that haul between the two. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, I doubt it. Well, Lasseter is actually a huge car guy. He's got a massive private car collection that very few people have seen. He's a big car guy. Yeah, quite the collector. Exotics and classics, and from what I understand, he's got a little bit of everything, a little bit of really high-end stuff. So that'd be kind of cool to see. And then make some phone calls, guys. We'll see if we can get into his garage for the weekend.
Yeah.
He's got a Bugatti Veyron.
Hey,
Where's
did you see
keys?
Did you see the picture I posted? There was one of those at the cruise-in I had the truck at that night at a couple weekends ago. Yeah, actually, a guy we used to hang around with drove lowriders back in the 90s. This guy now has 15 Lamborghinis and a Bugatti. Yeah, look through my. I'll text Spencer a picture. He can send it to you. Yeah, it's crazy. I got to sit behind the wheel of this thing. $1.4 million car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
The
Yeah,
thing though is
see?
the gas it eats up. Just turning the thing on, man.
We talked to the guy for about an hour, and he said he'd had it up to 211 miles an hour on a public freeway, which adds to the awesomeness. And at that speed, he gets a right at 6 miles per gallon.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Right at.
you're not going very far at that speed.
Yeah.
It's we talked to him for a while. Can you imagine? God, yeah, it's sickening. Big money. I couldn't afford a brake job on this thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you can afford the car, you can afford to fill it up. One of those, that old saying. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what's I ask you guys while I have you on the horn here? What's going on in the parks? Anything fun and exciting?
Not much. Me and Brett went to Universal today. We bumped around there, and Disney parks are still kind of doing their thing. I mean, nothing really new's come out. Mine Ride, they're still doing construction on. Starbucks, that opened on Main Street. That's, it. Like everyone thought it was going to completely change it. Spencer's upset that they moved the pastries, but
Oh, yeah, that's it.
I mean, it looks nice and everything. They did a nice job on it. Other than that, it's the problem is right now it's still busy season, tourist season. So it's just been, I've been going almost every day to one or the other of the parks, and just kind of bumming around, riding a couple rides that I want to ride, and then taking off and doing whatever, So
Tourist season should be over in a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And as soon as it is, for probably the next couple months, I'll be hitting the parks just about every day.
You guys suck.
I mean, not to make anyone else feel bad, but like even when I get out of work, I'm home by 6. I can go to a park for at least 3 hours, and especially at that time of night, it's even going to be quiet.
Well, not Animal Kingdom.
Well,
Can't go there.
I don't count Animal Kingdom.
No one counts Animal Kingdom. I like Animal Kingdom, but
I like Animal Kingdom too. Have you ever been there at night?
Oh,
yeah.
It's what a phenomenal park at night. It is a completely different perspective on that park. I think Gary Hall might even like this place at night. Unlikely.
Yeah, he might.
It's amazing at night. I can't understand why it's not open late enough. You hear so much of the animals. Well, it's because of the animals, and I can't help but think it's not open that late just because it doesn't have the clientele. I guess you could say.
That's pretty much it.
There's not that many people there.
Well, plus too, it gets dark in certain areas at night in that park. Like, they just don't have the lighting like they do at any of the other parks too. Just to kind of keep that aesthetic of that wilderness area, they just don't have. I mean, I know that I've walked around some areas of it, and I'm like, it's pitch black out here.
Yeah, exactly. But it's so cool. We have kind of a cruddy. It's not. I don't even call it a zoo. It's more like a park. It's Nashville Zoo, and what actually used to be a wildlife park. It just kind of has trails and very few animals. But anyway, it's kind of crappy. But they have a thing a couple times a year where you can actually camp out in the park. And every time, we've never been, but every time I see it on TV or in the paper or hear it on the radio or whatever, I think, what if you could do something like that down there? Maybe, APs could do it. I know SeaWorld, if you're an AP guy at SeaWorld, I think your kids can go to that thing where they stay overnight or something. I don't know. It just seems like there's so many things that maybe they're missing the opportunity on, but whatever.
Well, in the dreaded Avatar land that everyone hates, I mean, maybe if they open that up, if they ever open it up, that will kind of extend the hours at night a little bit, because that's actually something extra you can do besides look at the animals.
Yeah, I'm not completely opposed to the Avatar thing. I kind of enjoyed the movie. But back to the truck, I'm a creative guy. I see things kind of in a different perspective than a lot of people do. Not to say that you guys don't see it this way, but I see that creative element, and that's kind of the way I did with Avatar. The second time I watched it is actually when I picked up on the story, because the first time I just kind of watched, I looked at the scenery and these things that you don't catch when you're watching the movie, and it's a lot of times how I Disney. I see the things in the background, and then I see what's up front. But anyway, with that whole Avatar thing, it's I don't oppose it. I'm not sure if it's the right fit. I don't know. It's maybe it's a dying franchise. You don't walk into a Walmart or a Toys R Us or a GameStop and see Avatar like you see some of these other names, Harry Potter or hell, even Legos. You just don't see it. So, that franchise may be dead at this point, but I think at this point, with the capacities we're seeing all this fast pass crap and, Brazilian tour groups, we're seeing so many things packed into small areas. Take Hollywood Studios, for instance. We've got, there's just not a lot there to do anymore. And now they're talking about ripping out more of it. And, if you're talking half-day parks, that's probably a half-day park compared to any of them. Yeah. But, back to the Avatar thing, it's at this point, you almost welcome any kind of growth that will pull some of the crowds off of anything else. Soarin' or Toy Story Mania that have, 2.5 hour wait sometimes.
Yeah, right.
And why? Because the attraction's all that great? No, because there's nothing else to do in those areas.
Yeah. It can't make the park any worse. And
no.
I have faith in Disney to do it right and make the improvement that Animal Kingdom does need.
Yeah, I don't know. We enjoy it, but my kids like to just kind of stroll around, and we every time we go, we don't plan anything. We don't make spreadsheets. We don't look at touring plans, nothing. If there's something that we want to ride, we might grab a fast pass when we get there and kind of tool around and come back later. But we never have a schedule or an agenda, to take on the parks when we go. Well, plus we have so many kids, it's kind of hard to do that. You never know when a kid's going to have a meltdown and that sort of thing. So when we're in that park, we kind of have a different dynamic than a lot of people. We just kind of stroll and just kind of take it as we go. So, and my wife won't ride anything. She actually almost chickened out on Dumbo when we were there in February. So, seriously, she said, I can't do it. It makes me nauseous. I'm getting motion sickness. I yelled from the Dumbo in front of her. I was like, it's Dumbo, for God's sakes. You just ride it. Just ride the damn thing.
Like
You'll be off in a minute.
Oh, come on, Lucky. You need to break her of that motion sickness.
Yeah.
Seriously, yeah, maybe I need to get a waterbed.
There you go.
I don't know. It's,
I mean, with anything like that, I guess, and I could be wrong, but I think we kind of forget that, I'm 30, so what I like in the parks is completely different than what a child is seeing in the parks.
Exactly.
So something like Avatar might blow a kid's mind away. It might be aesthetically pleasing to them, but me, I'm thinking, there's no e-ticket, or there's no this, or they spent $1 million in the bathroom. They might have spent $1 million on the Tangle bathroom, but they look really nice. And for kids walking past, it looks good to them.
Not only that, but when you're in that area and you have to go, $1 million is the best $1 million spent.
Yeah, those are nice bathrooms.
when you've had a corn dog and a Dole Whip right after each other, and you've got to go.
The first time I saw it, Spencer and I were there, not in the bathroom together, but
That's a different story.
That's where we've been up at. Yeah.
we were there, and I think, where do we come from, Spencer? Maybe Haunted Mansion,
Probably.
and we ended up there, and that's actually where I FaceTimed the kids and walked them around the castle and the fireworks and all that mess. But it just blows my mind that they spent. I mean, it's quality work on a damn bathroom.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wonder how many people show up at that thing and they see the tower and they get there and they're just like, where the hell's the ride? Where's the meet and greet? And they see the sign for the men and women's John, Hey.
Tell me, go charge your phone over there.
Oh, shit. I didn't. I never saw that when I was there. The charging docks. What are they? Are they just AC ports?
Area across from the bathrooms. There's
Like
looks
these
like tree
stumps.
stumps.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Tables and seats.
Yeah, you flip open a door and if you've got just a USB cable, they got those, and they got the regular plugs and everything else, so you can sit there and charge your phones. But we've talked about on the other. Go ahead.
You have to have a cable, right?
Yeah, you have to have a cable. Yeah.
Tip of the day. Bring your cable with you, right? Bring your cable.
Which is something I never understood, is that Disney does not get into the chargers game. A simple USB cable you cannot find on Disney property. And I've gone with so many friends that all they do is try to find a single charger, and you can't find them anywhere.
No, now the D-Tech stuff they have started to have.
Really? I mean, because this was a month or two ago, and we just could not, even in the D-Tech stuff, we went to every single store at downtown Disney and could not find a
You and I couldn't find one. When we were there for the Car Master show.
Right.
Remember, I plugged into the light pole there, and have an iPhone 5, and I have a 4, and I said, hey, let's go get a plug, and you said there's not one anywhere here, and my response was, you've got to be effing kidding me. Seriously?
They've started having them now. It must have been just recently.
Yeah.
I've seen them in Mouse Gears, and I've seen them at the arcade at Space Mountain.
Really?
They have actually had D-Tech has like Mickey cables and everything.
Are they $47.99?
Yeah, they're outrageously priced.
When every Walgreens on every corner in Orlando has them for $3, and your choice of lime green or hot pink.
Same person pays $12 for a poncho there. When they can go to the Hess station right on property and pick one up for I think $4.
Yeah.
So.
Well, with the cords, it's just like anything else with Disney. They have to test it and do this and do that, and they're always 2 steps behind everybody. Even though what they do is sometimes better than anybody, in case in point, but they're always 2 steps behind everyone. And I think I've never been to Universal, but I follow it through several podcasts and forums and sites and Twitter and this and that. And I just kind of wondered how far back some of this Universal expansion is going to put Disney.
It's pretty nice, man.
Oh yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised going to Universal and seeing all this stuff. I tell you, man, the new Harry Potter 2 section they're building at Universal, Dude, that thing they're banging that out real quick. Yeah, it was like 2 weeks since we've been there last, and the one building is almost, the infrastructure of the building's almost done.
Now, here's the kicker. They've gotten so much accomplished in that second part of Harry Potter. While they're doing that, they did a whole Springfield land around the Simpsons ride. I mean, they have an enormous eatery with I think there's 5 different places to eat. In it is a complete Moe's Tavern, which is something where you feel like you're in the TV, in the show.
Yeah.
Wow.
So authentic, it's phenomenal. Now, which this is the first time I saw it, I think it just opened up a week ago. Across from that, bordering the water, they now have Duff Gardens, which is a giant outdoor bar, little souvenir place. They have Bumblebee's taco truck. They have a Lard Lad donut stand, which is nothing but donuts. And they're building the Duff Brewery. They're also finalizing. The only thing that's not open yet, they're finalizing a spinner ride, a Kangen Kodos spinner ride. And that's probably going to be done in the next couple weeks. This is all while, like we said, they're just banging out the work.
Not only that, they're also building another resort.
That too.
And
that's coming along.
And
yeah, what's the name of that new resort?
That's Cabana Bay.
Yeah, Cabana Bay.
Like but Comcast just recently also, like even after all this stuff is in the works and are like almost already done, Comcast just increased their budget and expedited their budget as well, increasing it.
Yeah.
For everything for future expansion.
Yep.
Like they're on a roll.
Well, they just bought Wet and Wild too.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's definitely. I mean, like I said on their last podcast, I mean, I love Disney, but they really do need to start stepping it up and doing something. I know it costs a lot of money to run Walt Disney World with the infrastructure and just keeping basic road maintenance probably costs them a fortune. Not to mention their payroll and everything else, because they basically run a city. But I mean,
right?
They really, like, the Mine Coaster should have been open already.
Oh,
I
Jesus!
know it's going to look beautiful
absolutely.
when it's done, but there's times we walk past and it doesn't look like anything's being worked on.
When did they announce Avatar Land? Was it a year ago?
2 years ago.
Okay.
2011,
It's been 2 years.
2 years.
If you're confident that much about something that you're going to make a public announcement, then you should have no problem breaking ground as soon as you say it. Well, if that's the case, they've had 2 years to get this done. They should have, I believe they should have been completed, but even if that's going a little too far with all the things they have to do,
they should have
at least been halfway.
Yeah.
They should have been at least halfway done with Avatar Land.
Well, how long did it take Eisner to open the studios?
Well, that was done because he was in direct competition with Universal.
Universal, exactly.
So he knew that he could not drag his heels on that.
Yeah.
This here, they feel, well, we don't have to get it done. We'll just get it done when we get it done.
Right. Well, I think, I don't know. There's so many people that, Disney does absolutely nothing wrong, period.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It just feels to me sometimes that Disney just kind of takes that for granted and packs it up and runs with it. We'll close this down and leave this way because people are, and they are. People are still packing in the place. Every time we're there, it's busier.
And that's fine that people look at Disney as if they do no wrong. That's perfectly up to them. It doesn't bother me.
I think too. A lot of it is your average tourist doesn't know the dealings that go on that we see every day.
No, the average tourist don't listen to podcasts and follow all these forums and blogs, and I mean, there's just so much to it. This morning before it even hit 7:00, I was checking, reading something on Facebook about D23. I hadn't even left the house yet. And here I am now. I mean, I don't even know what time it is now. We're talking Disney now. It's nonstop. And, the majority of a tourist, they're not a fan. They're a tourist.
I helped a guy out yesterday find where Space Mountain was when we were at Pirates, And I even showed him, he wanted to know what the wait time was, so I flipped open my app, and he's like, there's an app for that? And I'm like, yeah, there's an app for it. So it's stuff like that. they're not going to know. They don't even know what the hell an e-ticket is. You know?
No.
They just they'll walk past and be like, "Ooh, look, new bathrooms by Haunted Mansion. That looks pretty," and walk on by. And then they'll come 5 years later and they're like, "Oh my God, look at this mine coaster! It's mind blowing."
Right.
Look,
right. How long has this been here?
Look, Avatar Land's done. Mickey's blue now.
Mickey's blue. It glows. Not only he blue, he glows. It's I don't know. I dread all this new Fast Pass Plus, and they keep saying that it's not going to take the spontaneity out of a vacation, and I'm curious to how the hell it's not going to happen.
And this is coming down as a tourist. I hardly ever used Fast Pass. And I was still banging out rides left and right, but I would also plan my trip during a slower season.
Yeah.
Now
we never
here,
use Fast Pass either.
Yeah. Now living down here, there's times where I'm just not going to wait for that ride, and I don't get to ride it. But luckily, I live down here, and I live 5 minutes away, so I can say, "Well, screw it, I'll go back tomorrow," and try then. But even then, once they change it, I won't probably utilize Fast Pass.
Well, we don't. There's so many times that we get the Fast Pass. We want to go on that attraction. We get the Fast Pass, and then we end up at the other end of the park.
Yeah.
And one kid fell asleep. One kid got hungry, and quite frankly, you're too damn tired to walk to the other end of the park. So the Fast Pass goes unused, and by the time we get to the other end of the park, where sometimes the crowds die down, but sometimes we wait that 30 or 40 minutes. Yeah. And even in the Fast Pass line, you can wait 30 minutes. I've waited 30 minutes in a Fast Pass line plenty of times.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
We have screwed ourselves in single rider lines and ended up waiting longer in a single rider line than we would have in the regular line.
Well, that's one of those deceiving things.
Yeah.
In some cases, I've seen Fast Pass lines just as long as a standby line.
Today we bucked the system at Universal. What was the ride where we're in the
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man. We're in the single rider line, and they needed two more to fill a seat, so we were the next two.
Yeah, and we still ended up being together instead of separated.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which is good because, Hopkins gets very upset when we're not together.
Not together.
I get scared on rides. I need my accountability buddy.
Hey, at least they don't have a Space Mountain where you sit in each other's laps anymore.
Oh yeah.
Well, we try to, but then they tell us.
Yeah, they get upset with that.
You can't fit.
She calls me a fatty, then I start crying. Then Brett buys me some cotton candy and we sit and talk about it.
Yeah.
Going straight to City Hall with that fatty comment.
I'm not fat, I'm good boned.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna
I have a glandular problem.
They're gonna plus my AP for that. I don't know. I just wish it was. I wish there just wasn't so much to bitch about with them sometimes. And I think that just goes on social media, and it's the same in the custom car world. Not to get back to that, but it's the same thing. It's bitch and moan and bitch and moan and bitch and moan. And I'm just as guilty as anybody else with it on both ends of it. So
we're connected now, and we're very on demand-ish when it comes to stuff now.
We are, absolutely. So, I don't know. I look back at the way the Disney company was, and I guess we started going in. I went when I was 11, so 28 years ago, do the math. I don't know what year that was. First time I went when I was 11, and then we came back when... Let's see, the first time back was when Logan was pretty small. He's 18 now. It would have been, he was probably 4 at the time. So 98, I guess my first time back was 97 or 98, since going as a kid. But we went twice a year. Sometimes, we went 4 times in 1 year. There was 1 month we flew down and they had it was kind of like that bounce back program. We flew down and we stayed for 5 days, and they had this, this book your next trip while you're here and get a discount. It wasn't called the bounce back or spring back or whatever. It was the same thing. But we ended up booking it, and I got home, and my bosses, we're so-and-so canceled vacation and whatever. If you want to take vacation next week, you can go ahead, because that happened to be the week that I had planned on going.
Yeah.
So we ended up just turning around. I caught a flight 4 days later and went back down another 10 days. Yeah, and it was so different back then. I was actually there the previous year to September 9/11.
Yeah.
The previous year. So what would that have been? 2000. Would have been 2000, right?
Yeah.
So I was there September 11th, 2000, and that was actually the first time the park had ever closed. It was whatever hurricane was down there. I don't even remember. But man, that week you could just walk onto anything. Nobody was there at all. We were the only people on the monorail. The 3 or 4 times we rode it that day, we were the only people on the entire monorail.
Yeah.
The only people standing at the gate, period.
Yep.
It was back when you could actually ride in the front. Like, hey, you're the only one here. Come on, y'all ride in the front. It's like, you're kidding me. Yep, those days are over.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they'll be back again. One can only hope, yes.
Yeah. Well, it was good having you on.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good chatting with you guys, and we need to plan something, maybe a little formal next time, and
Yeah, let us know when you're coming down. We'll coordinate our schedules around you.
We're here.
For sure.
yeah, we'll be down there in November. And like I said, we have an army of kids, so as long as you guys are patient, we'll try to meet up down there or something.
Well, according to Megan's law, never mind.
Oh, right.
Right, exactly. I don't know.
Be honest.
We'll figure it out.
All right. Well, talk to you later, man.
Take
All
it
right,
easy.
absolutely.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah, y'all have a good night.
You
Bye.
too. Well, it looks like that'll be it for this week's episode. If you have any questions or comments for us, you can send us a message using our Contact Us link on our homepage, or you can send us an email directly at questions@wdwfanboys.com. If you'd like to help us promote the show, every post on our page offers a one-click link to Facebook and Twitter. Just click the links on our site to let your friends know that you enjoy our podcasts and blog posts. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at WDW Fanboys, or join our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/WDW Fanboys. And while you're at it, head over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel. And remember, if you're shopping on Amazon.com, don't forget to navigate to our Amazon links on our homepage. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does help us out, because every purchase you make through our links lets us receive a portion of your purchase price, which in turn helps improve show content and helps with running costs. And remember, if you do spend more than $1,000 worth of merchandise in a 12-month period, let us know, and we'll send you a free Fanboys t-shirt. Have a good one. Don't forget to join us again next week.
And now is the time when we dance.